So they can hear just like we can. They just don't have like earlobes like we do, or like a dog would. They don't have that because it helps them swim faster through the water. So if they had ears, they'd have extra stuff slowing them down. So that's why they don't have ears. But they can hear. Penguins at the zoo have a very easy life. They obviously don't have to catch their own fish. So if they were living in the wild, they natively are from the Pacific coast of South America, so the countries of Chile and Peru, and they swim in the ocean, which is another thing that's different. So normally penguins swim in the ocean, which is salt water. At the zoo, they are in fresh water. They have a gland that lets them absorb salt water for their water intake, and then they secrete the excess salt through the little holes in their nose. But here at the zoo, they're just in fresh water, and they just don't use that gland, so they're just fine in that. So there's that, and then they don't have to catch their own food. They still eat the same food, fish. The diet is completely made up of fish. They just don't have to catch it. And then obviously they're protected from predators here at the zoo. Whereas in the wild they have to watch out for like sharks, killer whales, seals. There's some hawks that'll go after them. So those are the big differences. Penguin families. Penguins usually pair up for life unless the other mate dies, or if they're unsuccessful with their eggs. So if they fail at raising the baby, or they can't produce eggs because there's something wrong with either of the pair, then they would switch. But normally they stick together for life. And then mom and dad both help in raising the baby. They sit on the egg, they take turns incubating and going out and feeding, and then the other one will sit on the egg, and the other penguin will go out and eat. And then the same thing, once the baby is hatched, they'll come back and bring food back for the baby. So it's very much a family for penguins. Whatever looks best, that's how they pick their mate. They just find out whoever they want, and that's who they pair up with. They keep warm, they have those nice feathers on them, and then they have a gland that they constantly clean themselves with. So there's some oil in that gland, they get the oil into their beak, and then they kind of go through their feathers and put the oil on there. And that oil makes them waterproof, so that water just slides off of them. And then they have two layers of feathers. They have a down feather, like you would see in a baby chick or something, that's really soft and fluffy, and then that outer layer of feathers that kind of helps the water slide off of them. So that's what keeps them warm. At the zoo, they eat fish. Most of the fish they eat is a fish called capelet. It's about this big. It's perfect size for a penguin. And then once in a while, we'll give them mackerel, which is a little bit bigger, kind of as a treat. And then they'll get smelt once in a while, which is small like a minnow. But their favorite definitely is silver size. It's really tiny. It's like candy to a penguin. So we only give them that on special occasions, but always made up of fish. They do not have any teeth. They like to eat their fish head first. If you try to hand it to them tail first, they'll move it around. And they have spines kind of on their tongue and their throat that point backward into their body. So when they grab that fish, it kind of gets sucked in, and they can really take it down into their body. And then they have really good insides that break up those fish for them. Since they don't have teeth, they can't really chew anything. So their insides are very, very good at breaking things down for them. The disgusting thing about the Humboldt penguins is their nests are made of their own poop. So they will poop and poop and poop and poop, and they kind of build these mounds, and then they kind of make a little nest for an inside of there. So that is what their nests are made up of compared to other birds who kind of use whatever they can find, like sticks or other feathers or hair. Penguins make their nest out of poop because it sticks to everything, which is very annoying to clean up, but it works very well for them. So 16 or 17 different species of penguins, depending on who you ask, but around there. Emperor penguins and king penguins are very big. They can get up to be about very tall, but those are cold weather penguins, so they have to be bigger because they need more body size to stay warm. The biggest difference is obviously the temperatures that they live in. So there are a lot of species of penguins that live in warm weather. There's actually more kinds of penguins that live in warm weather that live in cold weather. And then cold weather penguins obviously are going to be a lot bigger because they need all that extra layer of fur and fat